Hello, everyone. Ron here from RJJ's Reactions. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I posted a 21 Pilots video a little while ago, but it promptly got blocked. So it will probably show up in 2 or 3 or 4 days. I have disputed it. The other ones I had to dispute, they do show up usually in about 2 or 3 days, it seems to take, unless this one they argue and keep me blocked. We'll see. 21 Pilots seems to be the most challenging to get online so far, despite what I tried to do. At any rate, I decided to do something a little bit different. So there was a song that I heard many years ago, probably, I don't know when exactly, but I think in the 80s, and by Paul Young, and it was called Soldiers Things. And I couldn't remember the name of it actually, but I did remember that it inspired one of my stories for the first volume of short stories. These stories were written in the 1970s and 1980s, and in the last couple of years, have published 2 volumes of these stories. And in the first volume, there was a song that was inspired by this Paul Young song. But when I looked at the lyrics for the Paul Young song, they were written by Tom Waits, and I see that Tom Waits has also sang Soldiers Things. So I'm going to listen to both of them in this video. I'll start with Paul Young because that was the one I heard first, even though the lyrics were by Tom Waits, and then we'll listen to Tom Waits' version and see how they compare. And then we'll have a look at the lyrics as well. And I'll let you guess which story in the first volume was the one that was inspired by this song. I put the links below for Paul Young's YouTube channel, Tom Waits' YouTube channel, and of course my books as well. All right, let's have a listen first to Paul Young, Soldiers Things. Okay, Paul Young, Soldiers Things. Bit of a mistake there.
Davenports and kettle drums and the swallowtail coats, tablecloths and patent leather shoes, bathing suits and bowling balls and clarinets and rings. All this radio really needs is a few. A tinker, a tailor, a soldier's thing. His rifle, his boots, full of rocks. And this one's for bravery, and this one's for me. And everything's $1 in this box. Oh, oh, oh. Cufflinks and hubcaps, trophies and paper bags. It's good transportation, but the brakes aren't so hot. Necktie and boxing gloves. Hey, this jackknife is rusted. You can pound that thing out on the road. Tinker, a tailor, a soldier's thing. His rifle, his boots, full of rocks. And this one's for bravery, and this one's for me. and everything's $1 in this box. Oh, a soldier's thing. His rifle, his boots full of rocks, and this one is for bravery, and this one's for me, and everything's $1 in this box. Yeah. Everything's $1. Trunk full of memories. Mm-hmm. Still that box for me. Everything's $1 in this box. A trunk full of memories. Memories. 1, 2, 3. Just a trunk full of memories.
Nice.
Take that box for me. Sell that box for me.
A number of things that I really still love about this song. I haven't heard it for a really long time. And I like his voice. I like Paul Young's voice. It isn't necessarily the voice that I would really go for nowadays as much, but it's still it's a beautiful voice. But as I say, I tend to go for more gravelly, more or something very different. That probably Tom Waits is going to be impressive to me when I play that one. But I was impressed with this voice too, and also with I like when the saxophone came in, and then the violins and sort of the crescendo or whatever you want to call it nearer to the end. And there's also a certain amount of pain there, but mostly it's a sort of to me, it's sort of a sense of loss or a sense of worthlessness. And I could be totally off base, but I believe that's where I was thinking, and I was catching the lines of the soldier, and I'll talk about the lyrics a little bit more after we listen to Tom Waits's version. But that was the inspiration for the story, I think, was the soldier and the idea of these memories and what they're worth. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit more. Let's listen to Tom Waits next. Now let's have a listen to Tom Waits. I can already imagine him with his usual ratty old hat and coat, the persona he creates, and that gravelly voice. I think this song will be perfect for it. Let's have a listen.
drums, swallowtail coats, tablecloths, and patent leather shoes, bathing suits and bowling balls, and clarinets and rings. What this radio really needs is a fuse. A tinker, a tailor, a soldier's things. His rifle, his boots, full of rocks. Oh, and this one is for bravery. When this one is for me. And everything's a dollar in this box. Cufflinks and hubcaps, trophies and paperbacks. It's good transportation. The brakes aren't so hot. Neckties and boxing gloves. This jackknife is rusted. You can pound that dent out on the hood. A tinker, a tailor, a soldier's things. His rifle, his boots, full of rocks. Oh, and this one is for bravery. Oh, and this one is for me. And everything's a dollar in this box.
Okay, much shorter version, and the piano was more prevalent here. Obviously, you could hear the prevalent sound of the piano. Getting my words mixed up here. And also, it was a cello, wasn't it? I'm trying to think of the name. You could hear that bass sound. I think that's a cello. I might be insane today. Who knows? But yeah, I love Tom Waits' voice. I always have, still do. I don't know if I've heard this song. I might have heard this song before by him, but I know originally it was the Paul Young version that I heard. And but I really love them both. If I had to pick, I would probably pick Tom Waits because of that gravel in his voice. I just love that sound. Um, some don't, but I do. In this one, it's not as strong as in some, so I think most people would be okay with this song. All right, let's have a look at the lyrics now. Let's have a look at the lyrics now. Soldiers' things, lyrics. Okay, Davenports and kettle drums and swallowtail coats, tablecloths and patent leather shoes, bathing suits and bowling balls and clarinets and rings. So it's a collection of things. Obviously, the title is Soldier's Things, so that gives it away a little bit. But you have Davenports, sofas or couches, kettle drums, um, swallowtail coats, tablecloths, and patent leather shoes. So these are items, these are things, but they're also memories as we learn sort of as we move through. Um, and all this radio really needs is a fuse. So the radio is broken down. Getting a little bit of date here too. The Davenports, swallowtail coats, the radio that needs a fuse. So maybe not a recent war. So one of the so-called Great Wars. I don't know. Um, a tinker, a tailor, a soldier's things. His rifle, his boots full of rocks. Um, Now, I don't remember what I thought at the time, a long time ago when I first heard the song. I think I still sort of feel this way. Boots full of rocks. It just gives me the sense of being weighted down, of a waste in a sense, or a feeling of waste. Not necessarily that it was a waste, but a feeling of waste. And I got that from some other parts of the song as well. So that's the boots full of rocks. Might be something completely different that Tom Waits meant, but that's the feeling that I get. And this one is for bravery, and this one for me. So looking at metals as well, and everything a dollar in this box. And I think that's the part that made me very sad when I first heard the song. All these things that this soldier has done and this life that he's lived, the good and the bad and everything in between. And, he's having a yard sale or a garage sale or something. And everything, all these things, but there's memories attached to these things are for sale, and all of this is just a dollar in this box. So metals and other things. What's it worth? It's not. It just doesn't seem like it's worth enough. It doesn't seem like you know. It's sad. It seems really sad that this is your life and it's worth a buck. Um, Cufflinks and hubcaps, trophies and paperbacks. It's good transportation. Now, he's talking about a car here because after he says, but the brakes aren't so hot. But I also think the paperbacks is also a good transportation because the paperbacks is an escape. Reading can be an escape sometimes from your everyday life or a life that might be troubled in some way. And if you're a soldier, you might be in very obviously very difficult times. And sometimes books, stories can take you away from that. Doesn't matter the genre, it just can take you outside of that life that you're living or that trauma that you're enduring at that time. So to me, that could be both the paperbacks and the car that's also for sale. Trophies, of course, selling your trophies. That seems sad to me. It seems like, not that I have any trophies, I don't think, but but it would be sad if I had any. Maybe it's more sad that I never had them. It's good transportation. Can also talk about the car, obviously, but the brakes aren't so hot. So the car's kind of broken down as well. Necktie and boxing gloves. This jackknife is rusted. So again, you know, reference to the time that has passed or the life that is not quite past, but passing. You can pound that dent out on the hood. So the car can be repaired. Can this man's life be repaired? I don't know. Um, is he suffering or is he ready to let go? Is it time to let go of all of this? And I get a sense of sadness from it, but maybe that's wrong. But it feels a little bit sad to me. I think it feels less sad to me now at this age than it did when I was much younger. I think I felt it more in a sense back then. I think now that I'm a little older, um, I've kind of come to the point where I'm accepting that this is what happens. But it's still sad though. There's still a sense of sadness there that this is your life and it's all in this box and a few things around in the old broken down car and radio that needs a fuse. And yeah, we had radios with fuses and televisions with fuses as well. So um, it is fun to talk to my students today and talk about some of the let's see, old things that don't seem that old to me, but old things that they haven't heard of before or not quite sure what they are. I like the lyrics. I like the song. I liked both Paul Young and Tom Waits's versions of the song. They're a little bit different. The lyrics are basically the same. Paul Young's got a little bit more instrumentation, particularly at the end, I think, where you have the swelling of the violins and it may be a little bit more dramatic at the end than Tom Waits, and that's why it went on a little bit longer. But they're both excellent versions of this song. I really like them both. I would probably pick Tom Waits over Paul Young for this particular song only because of his voice, and I think it lends itself really well to this topic too. As I say, try to figure out which short story it is from volume one. You can read those stories for free if you have Prime. What's it called again? Amazon Prime. And so you can do the e-version for free if you have that. And there's paperback version as well. I will put the links below to, as I say, Paul Young, Tom Waits, and my books in the pinned comments for now. In the meantime, let me know what else you would like to hear, what other bands, what other songs, or just, any comment, any questions, anything you want to talk about. That's great. It's Ron from RJJ's Reactions. Have a wonderful day. Keep listening and keep having fun. Bye bye for now.